And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Off to the races we go after a night of stormy weather. Now, again, most of the weather stayed to the south of the immediate Meridian area, what I would call it. It would be south of Clark County as we get into Wayne County. Those areas from there to the coast, as we predicted, would be where the most serious weather was. Let's start out today. There's many of you who are waking up this morning that still do not have power. In the last hour, I can say that EMEPA has been on the trail of this. They've been working hard. Crews have been working throughout the night to get this power back on. Let's refresh this first and show you nationwide what we've got as we come to power outages, and then we'll get into the forecast and headlines of what's going on this morning. As we pull this up, as we come across here, we'll see that the state of Mississippi is hovering right at 16,000 people without power. Alabama, as you will see here, absolutely hit harder than Mississippi, with 62,000 people still without power this morning. As you go into Georgia, about 40,000, about 30,000 down in this area here of Florida. As we go here to take a look at what's going on at EMEPA, they've got it down to where about 27 people now are without power. Now, the heaviest stronghold is going to be right in this area here. Shibuda, a couple of people out to the east of there. Heidelberg, about 6. As we get deeper right in here, let's zoom in on where we are. Here's Enterprise. It'll be just north of there. As we get into Meehan Savoy Road, we got about 12 people right there across the interstate, a couple people without power there. As we move up, we'll show that we got just a little bit just west of Collinsville and a little bit out here by NAS Meridian, just off of 45 in that area there. Not bad. Those numbers are coming down, and we do expect them to get all of that back on before long. Let's get into Mississippi Power. Statewide, they are down to 500. And let's refresh this, see if they've got any more on since we've done that. 521. And as you'll see, most of it is going to lie south of here in the Hattiesburg area and those areas. We do have one place here still out in Marion there. We have 2 customers out right there on Highway 39 is where that is. As we come across to take a look at what do we got here? Newton County, Southern Pine. Let's refresh this, see if no changes on that. Still south of Morton, about 112 people in that area there. We'll call that 140, 130 there as you get into that. 12 over around Forest, and a little bit down by Bay Springs. Newton area looks good. As we come across to look here, as we get into the folks that are on Central Electric, about 21. Let's update that and see if that has not changed. And then this looks really good as you get into Columbus area, north of Macon, Mississippi. If you're watching from there this morning, we have one person still without power east of Columbus as all of this comes about and the power is being restored. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind before you head out this morning, there is debris everywhere. Do not drive fast, especially when it comes to the rural route. It's wet, it's slick, you come around a curve, there's trees in the road, and, well, an accident happens. So drive a little bit slower. You'll get there. It's okay. You didn't want to go to work anyway, did you? Just drive a little bit slower pace this morning. Make sure you get there safely. Now, let's make a note of this. The weather that happened last night is not going to be in the same caliber as what is coming on Thursday night into Friday morning. It's going to be worse for our area. East Mississippi will get a pounding coming up on late Thursday night into Friday. It will center more in this direction than south of I-20. So heads up as we get ready for this. And still, we're going to be talking about what's coming up next week. We're days away from this. And we're talking the holiday on Monday night, going back to work that next day. We've got temperatures that are going to be down in the teens. I'm seeing 14 now. During the daytime, we do have a 60% chance of showers. Now, the National Weather Service has not put out a detailed forecast stating that we need to be concerned yet. We're watching this. It could quit raining at 5 that morning and everything warm up during the day and be okay that night. We'll see what this comes about. We'll get into as this forecast gets closer, but keep that in the back of your mind. Next Monday, for 2 days, it's going to be in the teens. Monday night and Tuesday night, we're looking at 14 to 17 both of these nights, with rain chances on Monday. That could be bad. We hope that does not happen. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. We're going to take a break, and we'll get a good word for the day. We all need something inspirational, don't we? Well, I've got just the cure. Let's go out to Collinsville First Baptist.
If you're a parent or even someone who's been around children growing up, one of the great joys is to see how our kids grow, develop, and mature over time. And though they may make us nervous or even sad sometimes, when our children reach certain milestones, we celebrate. And what are those things? Well, saying their first word, going to the bathroom and not in a diaper for the first time, going to school, riding a bike. These are all big deals. Perhaps even more momentous occasions are when they begin to drive on their own, or when they graduate from high school or college, and, of course, if the Lord grants it, when they get married. We want these things to happen for our kids because we ultimately enjoy seeing them grow, and we want what's best for them. Well, in a spiritual sense, God desires for all of us to grow too in spiritual maturity. As Paul has just talked about how pastors and leaders are called to build up the body of Christ, he now shifts his attention to the body, the church. He says we are called to unity with each other and knowledge of God's Son, Jesus. And this will be marks, among others, of course, of our maturity in Christ. If we keep pursuing the Lord and growing, Paul states we will no longer be children spiritually tossed about by different and false teachings. See, in the Christian life, we're not just called to get saved. We're called to get saved, but we're also called to grow in the faith, to mature. Are you walking with the Lord and growing in your faith? Are you maturing spiritually? It takes time, it takes intentionality, and, as it's implied here, it takes a community of faith to belong to. Above all, it takes devotion and love for the Lord. Are you maturing as a believer? And have you trusted in Jesus to be born again, to start the process of spiritually growing up? I pray you are, and I pray you have. Remember, change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Scotty Petty joining us all the way from Tulsa, Oklahoma. A little snow happening there this morning. Be careful and all of that. We have wet streets in the Meridian area. Also Butler. I see that Lawrence Tyson's watching us from there this morning. Y'all be careful. Alamucha joining us there. Philadelphia. Lots of places. Gulfport. Good morning, Sandra. Hope you're feeling well there. Just glancing some other cities that we see popping up here. Oh, Louisville. How are y'all today? As we get into this, again, be careful. We want all of that. All right, as we get into headlines that are shaping America this morning, do y'all remember seeing the video? It's floating everywhere where the guy attacked the judge. He jumped over the bench after her. Could have harmed her. Really puts a new light on why you have bailiffs inside a courtroom with police to stop these type things. He's been sentenced. Same judge gave him the gavel. 4 years for the crime that he was already going to get. Now, I'm not sure what he'll get for this extra attack on that judge, but it should be long to set an example of never to do this. California, they have found a body that has been there for 13 years, a decapitated body. They've identified it, brother. That's awful, but it does DNA testing of this. She was 64 years old. She was headless. Her name was, and I'm going to have a little trouble pronouncing this, Ada Kaplan. Hopefully I said that correctly. 13 years later, they identified it. That is one good thing about DNA. It does solve mysteries. It does bring closure to families. I didn't even know this happened. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Somebody got a pair of handcuffs. Why? Ran into the fence. It sounds as though they tried to do this. There was an exterior gate there, and they ran into it purposely. That'll get you to the jailhouse quick. Just try it there. Do y'all remember when the days where you really didn't need a fence around the White House? Those days are gone. And in most businesses, too. But why? There's just some rough people. Arizona, man, you just can't do these things. People get online and they go to typing. They call them the keyboard warriors. He threatened the FBI. They showed up at his house, and I guess it got worse for him as they found 5,000 rounds of ammo. You threaten to hurt someone and you find that type in your house, it's not going to be good for you. He also has been hauled away as we see this. Tiger Woods, this may be opening for somebody else, says he's splitting from Nike. We'll see what becomes of that. That was at the top of my concern list for today. How about you, Odie? I was distraught.
Yeah, I can't sleep.
Odie won't be able to sleep tonight. You know, surrogate mothers, if I said that correctly, surrogate mothers, I've always thought of it as parents who could not have children and they got someone to carry the child for them so they could have somebody in their family. The Pope, who is, well, he's against that. And the more I read about this, I guess the less I'd ever put thought into this. They also have same-sex couples hiring people to carry. I've never even thought of that. I always just thought of it as the parents who could not have children themselves. But a big thing, and the Pope is against it. He's 80. Did you realize he's 87? A lot of similarities to Joe.
God said, "Be fruitful and multiply," and the Pope is against that.
Yeah, he
and
is.
same-sex marriage, so we've got a problem.
Yeah, we do have that. Be fruitful, multiply. He's against that. This guy is just different than anyone else. Y'all may disagree with me, but he is way different. We got a United States sailor being sentenced to jail. He will get 27 months for sharing data with China. What would make you do such a thing?
27 months?
27 months, that's not much, is it?
No.
Not at all. It had to be money, I guess, that would make you turn your back on your country. But 27 months is not much, and it does not set an example. You remember the guy in the submarine that was begging Trump, and the guy just took a picture, didn't mean any harm by it, and he was sentenced to like 5 or 6 years in jail or even longer?
Yeah. And he wouldn't give it to nobody.
Yeah, he didn't give it to anybody. It was just on his phone. Sometimes we often read things and don't quite understand everything there is to know. Democrats will be targeting as they get ready to try to get new voters. $35 million are getting ready to spend on the races to try to get you to go vote. That's a lot of cash, is it not? I've often thought, now this is both sides. Y'all think about what I'm having in my mind this morning. You take that $35 million, you take Republicans, there's no telling what they spend, independents, what they spend. Imagine if you were to take that money and do good with it. I understand that each side wants their party in the House, but boy, that sure is a lot of money. I don't know everything about this, but boy, this is breaking news this morning as we go to New York City, as some Jewish men have been arrested, a synagogue. They had a hidden tunnel. They refused to leave as authorities showed up to pour concrete in it. 10 men jumped in front of it and sort of became a riot. They've been arrested. If I understand, and I may not have this correctly, the tunnel connected the synagogue to a pub, possibly, something like that, and maybe it came out on the street. Whatever the case is, New York didn't like it, and they wanted to fill it up with concrete. They didn't take too kindly to their tunnel being filled up.
No.
Again, there may be more to that than we all know. We have another teacher that is going to be going to jail. Again, a lady. 16 years old is her victim. So I guess what we'd call that. And she will most likely face charges and go to jail for a little while. Marriage. Now, I've always defined it as in once you're married to that person. Some people seem to think that, well, it's okay to be married and have an open relation. Is that what they call this? Dating other people? As we see, a death has happened because of this. Couple married, $500,000 life insurance policy on the wife. The husband, who also has a girlfriend on the side, gets involved with her and decides, well, he doesn't need the wife anymore, takes her out. The marriage was trouble from the beginning. He'll probably spend a long time in jail at this point. Used to, you could automatically say when someone took someone's life, that's life in prison or straight to a electric chair, or I guess you could say that the word that I'm looking for is capital punishment. That's not the case anymore. All that's changed. And with that, you have more crime because people know, got a chance of getting out. I might be the lucky one. When lines are blurred, people do more. That's just the way I see it. I could be wrong. Treason, Virgil Williams says. That, if going back to the Navy guy, that is treason. Mm-hmm. Tony, I want to repeat that. That's funny what Tony just said. Hang in there, brother. We're going to be right back as we get deeper into this forecast this morning to let you know what is going on. We'll be right back. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group. If it's crossed your mind about a new tractor, visit my friends at Freeman Tractor on Highway 494 here in Collinsville. They got any style, any size that you're looking for. And right now, you can take advantage of getting a new tractor, a trailer, and a bush hog, all for $31,000, 0% interest for 84 months. Yeah, 0% for 84 months. Also, a great service department to work on any tractor that you have. From bush hogs, disc, and tillers, see it all at Freeman Tractor, Highway 494 in Collinsville.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Again, lots of power outages as you begin today. Crews are working to restore this. If you encounter any limbs, debris in the road, make sure to put that in the comments for us so we can share that with others. Our record high today was 1957 as that Chevrolet was coming off the assembly line. It was 80 degrees. Woo! 1970, we had a low of 8 degrees. It was a cold day then. As we move forward, look at today, it looks like 53 with showers through about 9 a.m. today. And it should taper off and become windy, and, well, you know how that wind is to you. As we go to Columbus, 52. As we go back over toward the Mississippi River, we're going to be cooler. 46 in Greenville as we make our way to Vicksburg, 46. Even Natchez there on the river, we'll see 48. As we cut across to Bama, still those showers making its way through there. 51 in Tuscaloosa. And Birmingham and Demopolis will hold steady at about 52. More rain on this side of Auburn over here. As we look at what's happening today, strong winds. Now, pay attention to this. This will mean that after all of this rain, we're going to possibly have more power outages due to this wind. Snaps trees, snaps limbs, and what do we get? Power outages. And we're at level 2. Sustained winds of 20 to 30, gusts to 40 miles an hour. So this could make it. Now, if you drive a SUV, drive a little bit slower today. That wind catches it. With it being wet, road slick, it can cause a problem. So drive slower, especially the bigger the vehicle is, it can catch this wind and do this. Even motorhomes, y'all think about that. Whew. But strong wind today as we look at this. Now, what is happening? This is where my concern is. This is going to be a much larger weather event for our area than we had last night. We want you to pay close attention to this as we move into Thursday evening into Friday morning. Again, a late storm, but as you see, we're at a level 2, and all of this covers this side of East Mississippi. It's going to be a much bigger storm making its way toward the end of the week. Tornadic activity very possible with this. We did have a tornado warning on the coast last night, and then we did have one briefly there for Wayne County as it went on into Alabama. But this will be a much larger weather event that we're going to be watching here for the next few days coming in. Thursday night, 2 nights from now. Make an appointment and be here with us as we'll go live to cover all of that. What is happening with the forecast for the next 6 to 10 days? This is what we have. Cooler weather making its way. We'll see that Monday and Tuesday as we get into that. Let's look at that 7-day forecast. Here's what we have here. 53 today, down to 29 tonight. It's going to be cold. Tomorrow we'll move up midweek there to 54, 34 at night. Warming up on Thursday, but we get a chance of rain on Friday. High of 66, but look at that low that night as the rain moves out. 28 for a low, 26 on Saturday night, 51 on Monday. But as we look at this, let's glance at this. 33 here is what we get on Tuesday, Wednesday, and these nighttime lows are what are concerning as we get into this. We're still looking at somewhere around 14 on Monday night. We should see 16 to 17 on Tuesday night. Now, if we get a chance of rain that we're looking at on Monday, depending upon when it cuts off and when it dries out as to what will happen with those temperatures sinking like that. Let's hope that goes away. We'd love to have some flurries, but that's it. We don't want anything past a flurry, do we, Odie?
We don't need that.
Snap, snap, crackle, and you have no power for a day or two. We don't want that. If you haven't seen our friends at Booker Electric, give them a call. They'll tell you all about generators that turn on automatically. It's the latest craze.
I tell you, it's wonderful.
It's wonderful. It just turns on. You don't have to go outside and drag anything. Turns on once a month, cranks up. You'll love it. Talk to them. They'll tell you all about that, how you can save time and be warm. And even cool during the summer. It's great there. Let's see, best times to fish today, if you're going to be out doing this. And again, it's going to be windy as we bring this forecast for you from Chet's Paint and Body here. The best time to fish today is 10 o'clock this morning. 10:10 to about 12:10 is the perfect time. It'll be after dark, your next best time. But look at that, windy with a southwest wind of 15 to 25. That's sustained with gust of about 40. That's a lot of wind, isn't it? So it's not great on the fishing. And what's it do for the hunting forecast? Now, about an hour before that, as we look at our hunting times, January the 9th, I meant to change that at the top, but that's your first times there. 9:22 is your best time till about 11:30 is your times to hunt today. Brought to you by our friends at Collinsville Meat. And we also got that posted on our webpage and Facebook page. Check that out if you want to look at the times there. If you're studying, you're in a shoot house there. We are just minutes away from starting the morning show. Lots going on with that. As we'll get the morning show underway to tell you everything that is going on from bad weather. We've had a lot of things stolen. Say it ain't so, right? We're going to give you the details of what we know coming up at 7 o'clock. Don't miss a minute of it. Happens right here at 7 a.m. with Scotty Ray and Odie. Well, we'll bring you the truth, whether we like it or not.
Amen.
It is what it is. We don't change it. We'll be right back. That's coming up at the top of the hour. Join us, won't you?
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.